Turning now to the No Kings protests taking over cities nationwide, including right here in Hampton Roads. Hundreds of thousands of Americans coming together to voice their opposition to President Donald Trump and his administration. This as a massive military parade in honor of the U.S. Army that falls on the president's birthday gets underway in Washington, D.C. Layla Cox begins our team coverage with a live look inside of a protest happening right now in Williamsburg. Layla, what do you see?
Yeah, that's right, Madison. Right now, I'm actually across the street from the Williamsburg James City County Courthouse, where thousands of people are rallying against President Donald Trump. If you take a look behind me, you can see there are thousands of people outside today in Williamsburg, and this is just one of thousands of demonstrations scheduled across the nation today. Williamsburg JCC Indivisible Group organized Saturday's No King Flag Day rally outside of the James City County Courthouse. Organizers say today's protest is a direct response to President Trump's birthday celebration in the nation's capital today. Organizers also tell me there are strict policies in effect to keep Saturday's rally peaceful and respectful for all. People can be seen outside of the courthouse, on the grass lawn, on the streets directly in front and across the intersection, holding signs that read No King's Day in America, hands off, end fascism, liberty and justice for all. We spoke with the founder of Williamsburg JCC, and she tells 13 News Now Saturday's rally is about holding President Trump accountable and honoring our armed forces.
I'm terrified that he will use troops to try to ever stop us from voting again. So that's what this is all about, to say no. That's the first part, the protest. Then we are transitioning into a celebration, the 250th anniversary of the Army. We have 7 veterans speaking, because it is the armed services that have guaranteed our right. They have fought for our First Amendment rights to be out here, and we are thanking them. And we're thanking them for fighting for the democracy in uniform, and they're still fighting for our democracy in the streets, besides us, out of uniform. They're amazing.
Thank you. Again, I'm outside of the James City County Courthouse in Williamsburg, and if you just take a look behind me again, you'll see more and more people flooding into Saturday's rally. There are elected officials and candidates speaking tonight. I'll have more tonight from organizers and demonstrators live in Williamsburg. Layla Cox, 13 News Now.
All right, thank you so much, Layla. Also this morning in Norfolk, protesters filled West against Jefferson Robertson Park before taking to the streets for a march. People had signs and were chanting to express their frustrations with the Trump administration's actions. While the march captured the attention across the city, one activist says the community is what inspired them to show up.
You can have as much power as you want, but at the end of the day, the actual power comes from the love of the people for each other, and not from the ballot box and not from a piece of legislation, but from the people who move and make those things possible. As they say, an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. If I don't stand up and fight, then I can't guarantee that anybody's standing up and fighting. If I don't take it upon myself to stand up, then how will I know anybody stood up?
Today's events in Hampton Roads join more than 2,000 similar protests planned nationwide. And in Virginia Beach, protesters gathered in town center to make their voices heard. We spoke with 2 attendees who told us they came out to the event because they feel the administration's actions are posing a threat to Americans on both sides of the aisle.
This affects everyone, no matter what your political affiliation. And they are ignoring the checks and balances of our government. We are not a dictatorship. We threw out the last king. That's how our country was born. Resistance is in our lifeblood, and we will not quit. We will not stop.
The protests in Norfolk and Virginia Beach both ended without any major incident, and more than 600 people signed up for another No Kings protest in Chesapeake today. Jordy Clark spoke with local activists at the event and continues our team coverage.
Coinciding with Flag Day and the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary, President Donald Trump hosting a military parade not just for the Army's birthday, but for his. And community members in Chesapeake, across Hampton Roads, and those across the nation say they are holding demonstrations to denounce Trump's actions, promote democracy, and to stand together.
We stand beside them when it comes to veterans' rights, when it comes to being against Medicaid cuts, when it comes to saving our children's public education, when it comes to representing the vulnerable.
In Chesapeake, demonstrators such as Robin Comfort says while she already disagreed with several of the Trump administration's decisions, the announcement of the military parade was the final straw.
What they're doing right now is they're doing a goose-stepping North Korea, Russia-style bow to the tyrant. And
with signs in hand and voices loud, many protesters tell us their true reasoning for being there.
I saw the protesters and I had heard about it in the news, and I thought, you know what kind of person would I be to protect democracy if I did not pull over and do my part?
I think about all the thousands of Americans that have fought and died to protect our democracy. I didn't think it would be disgusting to let that be choked out as it is being.
In Chesapeake, Jordy Clark, 13 News Now.